In this presentation, I'm going to show you how to make your PowerPoint presentations interactive with your users. First thing you need to do is enable PowerPoint to utilize macros. So open PowerPoint, click the funky little Microsoft button in the top left corner, and come down over here to where it says PowerPoint Options. Then you need to go to the Trust Center and click the Trust Center Settings. Make sure your macro settings are set to enable all macros. Now, typically, PowerPoint will disable the macros, so your setting is probably disabled in here somewhere. Go ahead and click Enable, and then click OK. Click OK again. Keep in mind, if your macros were disabled and you just enabled them, you're going to need to close down PowerPoint and reopen it so those settings will take effect before this is going to work for you. Now, I've given you a sample PowerPoint zip file. I hope that you've already downloaded that and unzipped it so you can follow along with me and actually have this code that you're going to need that you can copy. Open that presentation and let's take a look at the way this presentation works. I'm going to run the presentation from the beginning. It says, "What is your name?" This is a button. If I click this button, I can type in my name and click OK. Nothing else to do on this screen but hit that next button, so I'm going to go to the next slide. Who is the first president of the United States? I love easy tests. I'm going to click the right answer, and it says you're doing well, Kathleen. I really appreciate that feedback. Now I'm going to go on to the next one. And just for fun, I'm going to click the wrong answer. And it says, try to do better next time, Kathleen. I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to click Quit. That's all it did. Now, let's look at how they enabled these buttons. Going back to the first slide, I'm going to click on this button. In this presentation, I'm not going to show you how to make the buttons or put the text on them. I'm going to assume you already know how to do that. We've covered that in a previous class. But let's talk about the hyperlink that is attached with this button. So right-click on that button after you've activated it and select hyperlink. Here, instead of hyperlinking to a slide, which is what we're used to doing, we're going to actually run a macro. In this situation, the macro is called Your Name. Click the drop down arrow and you'll see that there are two other macros, Doing Poorly and Doing Well. First, I'd reterm that Doing Poorly to perhaps Incorrect Answer, something a little bit more polite, and Correct Answer, because just because you have one incorrect answer doesn't mean you're doing poorly, correct? All right. So I'm selecting Your Name, which is the one that they had selected, and click OK. So that's how you make the macro work. Now let's see where you program that macro. Remember, we activated the Developer tab previously in order to insert our YouTube video into the PowerPoint. If you don't have the Developer tab active on your PowerPoint, go back and look at that lesson again so that you'll know how to do that. Click the Developer tab and click View Code. When you view the code, it should pop up with a window that looks something like this. If it doesn't, you still should have these links over here on the left-hand side. Double-click on that Module 1 and it will open up this window if you don't see it. Now here you'll see that it has defined 3 subroutines. There's one called Sub Your Name, Sub Doing Well, and Sub Doing Poorly. Here's where you'll see the messages that will pop up to the user. I don't ask that you understand how to write all of this code, because you can simply copy this code and paste it into your own PowerPoint presentation and then play around with the text. Everything that's inside a quote mark, for instance, "You are doing well," is going to show up exactly as it's typed on the screen. If it says ampersand, that is adding this particular field called username onto the end of this phrase, "You are doing well, comma." So it says "You are doing well, comma, Kathleen," because it puts the two together. It got username from when it asked me in this very first Sub Your Name. That's where it found username from when I typed it in. Okay, I'm probably going to confuse you if I go through this too much more. I do want to show you one last thing though, and this is how easy it is to fix some of this text. You are doing well. We're going to retype this to say, congratulations, exclamation point, you got the correct answer, Kathleen. Okay, substitute username here. Down here I'm going to say try and do better next time. It's going to say nice try. Think about it some more and try again. You never want somebody to give up on something. Okay, now let's save this by clicking the Save button. Let's go back to our PowerPoint and run it again. Go to Slideshow from the beginning, and I'm going to very quickly go through this. Next button, George Washington. Congratulations, you got the correct answer, Kathleen. I should put a period on the end of that. Click OK. If I selected Abraham Lincoln, nice try. Think about it some more and try again, Kathleen. That's how easy it is to change the text on your pop-up boxes. So think about all the fantastic things that you can do, how you can enable feedback to your users and make PowerPoint more powerful with Visual Basic.